Creating optical system geometry and assigning optical system properties is a quick and easy process in the Apex environment. We'll look at a simple example of a faceted reflector and the optical system design tools that are available to us within the Apex workflow. To begin this first step in the Apex workflow, we've created a parabolic curve used as a construction curve, and we've attached a set of equal length line segments to form the basis of our faceted reflector. We've sized our curve using the smart dimensions and relations options available to us in the Apex environment. We then create a polygon, which we show in a front plane, and that polygon is attached to the end of our parabolic line segments. And we can edit the polygon and show that we've constructed 24 equal length segments around an inscribed circle, and this will form the basis of the outside dimension of our faceted reflector. We can now sweep our line segments using the polygon as a guide curve, and we can see that we've constructed the basis of our reflector. And to make this a solid model, we have added a thicken feature, and we can see the solid model of our reflector. We've inserted our reflector into an assembly file, and we can now look at some of the optical design tools that are available to us within Apex. Under the Optics Manager, we can see that we have a number of libraries that are included with Apex, and these include a variety of lenses, media types, coatings, scatter models, and sources. We look at our media catalog, we'll see the extensive list of commercial glass, plastic, and infrared material manufacturers which are included. If we want to assign a specific material, we can simply begin to do an automated search for that material, or we can choose a material from an existing catalog. And we'll note in passing that we can create a new material using either a formula like a Sellmeier formula or an isotropic material using tabulated data. And these materials can be included in an existing catalog or in a custom catalog, which we can then choose for a new part. Now, we don't need a media type for a reflector, but we might like to assign a coating to our reflector. And in this case, we can simply right-click on a reflector part, and we see a pop-up window which shows us all of the options that we have available for setting media types, coatings, scatter models. We can also ignore this part. We can make it emitting, and we can set some properties for ray splitting at the surface of our part. In this case, we want to create or assign a coating to our reflector. We can see that we have a number of options available to us within our Coatings Manager for creating or assigning prescriptive coatings using exact layer descriptions of the coatings. We can use a set of ideal coatings, or we can use coatings that we've created within our own catalog. We'll point out once again that we can create simple coatings or potentially prescriptive coatings for something like a multi-layer dielectric, where we have an actual prescription for the coating layers themselves. In this case, we'll choose a perfectly reflecting coating, and we can see that in essence, this coating has assigned a value of 1 or 100% reflectance for all wavelengths and ignoring variation with angle of incidence. So this is a perfect reflective coating at all wavelengths and all angles of incidence. We'll click OK, and we can see that within our Optics Manager that our coating has been assigned to our entire reflective part. Now, we might also be interested in assigning something like a scatter model to our surface, and we'll simply see that within the Scatter Model Manager that we can assign models for reflected rays, transmitted rays, or both, and we can select from an extensive list of commercial surface types, and we can simply click on one of these scatter types and assign it to our surface. Now, an alternative, rather than assigning an optical system property to the entire part, we might simply click on a single surface, and in the pop-up menu we see an Optical Properties tab, which now gives us the same options that we saw within our Optics Manager. And in this case, we could choose to set a coating, set a scatter model, ignore, consider this particular surface, and these settings would be particular for the surface that we've chosen. We can do this for a single surface or possibly even sets of surfaces within our model. And we can assign properties only to those surfaces that we've chosen while ignoring the rest of our system geometry for ray tracing purposes. So we can see that creating optical system geometry and assigning optical system properties is a simple point and click process within the Apex environment. Now that we've created our optical system, we're ready to create and insert a source, and this is the next step in our Apex workflow.